So welcome everyone to our April is ASC month for 2022. Honestly, I think I'll probably continue to do this even when we do go back to in person, because I think it's kind of cool to have a month where we sit together and we get together every Tuesday and can discuss different things. We are together every month, Tuesday or every Tuesday this month for 2 hours. We are going to today as our major items, not that. Will be me. Welcome introductions. Kelly Caudle, all of you know me. I'm part of the Academy Sports Center, Instructor Training Center here at Stanley. Couple quick things. Again, I've mentioned if you do have open positions in the faculty or positions for students, post those in chat so folks can see them. And like I said, if it can be either instructor or for students, either one. One of the things I know is there's a lot of us retiring, quite honestly, coming up. And so there'll be a large number of people who are looking to take their 6 months off and go work in other states. If you are working in the state of North Carolina and are retiring and are looking for teaching positions in that 6-month block when you're not in the state of North Carolina, contact me and I'll try to put you in contact with schools outside of North Carolina so you can work during that 6-month period. The other thing I want to mention is that we switched today's agenda a little bit. Echo is going to go first, and then we'll have Jessie do his BDM. They're now called Business Development Managers, I believe it is, instead of CSR managers. So they have a new update, same thing. Now I'll do a quick update on the summer of learning. It's not going to take 15 minutes, but got that. And then we'll be open for questions and answers. So thank you, Kendra. Kendra posted the position they have there also. So again, welcome. I'm glad everyone is here and I'm glad we're able to meet. I hope as we go through these next 4 Tuesdays, we'll be able to share information with each other. We'll be able to start to build that sense of community again. I know we've been apart for a long time. It was very good to see everyone during the NCCIA a couple of weeks ago and get to quote, see you. And I hope very soon we'll see you in person. It was really good last week. Was it last week or week before? Week before. I can't remember. But we had the training up in Forsyth week before. Okay, training up in Forsyth when we were all in person, and it was just really, really good to be back in person and see everybody and talk to everybody and share ideas. I told someone the other day, I wonder how many billions of dollars of great ideas have gone to the wayside during COVID because there's the lack of just that getting together around coffee or around the drink machine and talking. And I think that will continue to be the result if we stay all remote. And I know remote's great and everybody loves it, but I think there's going to be some things lost in that transition. So I am going to now turn it over to Echo. Echo, I'm going to quit sharing and I'm going to have to allow, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you a co-host. So you should be able to share yourself. So I will stop sharing and then you can start sharing anything you want. I'm also going to make Jessie a co-host. So Jessie will be able to down the road here. And just in case I would get disconnected, Brian, I'm going to make you a co-host also. That way if something would happen, the whole thing wouldn't drop out. So when Echo decides to leave, just remind me, Echo, when you start to drop out to take away your co-host abilities. You are muted, Echo. You're muted, Echo. Bottom left-hand corner. There you go.
I have too many screens open. Hold on.
That's
I was trying to figure out if I share this, make sure I get the right screen shared.
Right. Not a problem.
And for some reason, Zoom does them backwards. I don't know why. Phew. Okay, got it. So welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. Kelly, thanks for hosting. You always do a great job in getting everybody together, trying to keep them up to date. This is one of those, let's see, Kelly, what do you want me to present? Well, you have 45 minutes and here's 8 topics. So this will be typical of, there's just so many things that go on in NetAcad. There are, little different types of things that are happening right now. I will try to make sure I have chat open. Part of the reason I have to drop off at the top of the hour is I don't know, you guys may have seen the emails that came out around the programmability initiative that we're doing for US and Canada. So tonight we're launching our Linux for DevNet series of webinars for that group. And so everything that we're doing, we'll repackage and make sure everybody has access to it moving forward. So All right, so I do want to mention IPD week, mostly because there's a couple things I think that are important to call out specifically. So this is the last IPD week. There's a couple easy links for you down here. I'll send you the slides. Kelly, I was still tweaking them right at the end, waiting for one more slide from somebody. I'll make sure I email these as soon as I get done presenting. If you come to IPD week, thank you. If you don't, probably the most important thing to do during IPD week is the program update session. So our program update session, we do IPD week once a quarter, and program updates is everything since the last program update session. So we try to summarize everything that's happened, you know, the newsletters, the releases, all of that. There are a couple things I want to call out from a technical session that we had this last time. We did have a couple things around API. So if you guys know what Postman is, if you're teaching DevNet, you know Postman really well. If you've done some of the ETWs with me, I know some of you have, Postman allows you to really interact with and test APIs. So we had Postman came in for this IPD week, and they did one session around keeping up with API First World. This was for educators. And then this third bullet was API 101, which was API fundamentals with Postman. This got like a 4.8 rating. We did open it to students. Everything's posted up there. If you want to download, take a look at it. It's in the course. If you want to share it with your students, you're welcome to do that as well. This is part of our programmability initiative. So we're weaving different sessions into IPD week that are also part of our bigger initiative. In the second week of May is the next IPD week, and I'm looking at adding in some model-driven programmability. And I think I might do a demo and dust off one of the emerging technology model-driven programmability labs to show you how you could use it in, say, your CCNA class. So we're still fine-tuning those topics. We also did a how to attract new students with Skills for All. So I'm going to talk about Skills for All. I'm going to try to answer your questions and hopefully clarify the confusion that some of you might have around Skills for All. But if you need more detail and need a demo and those types of things, we don't have time for all of that today. But definitely take a look at that session. And then if you still have questions, you know, ask Kelly. If Kelly doesn't know, he'll let me know. We did release a JavaScript class just recently, so you might have seen that. So we did a little bit more of a deep dive, and then we did a web app security fundamentals. So this was the previous IPD week, and we're finalizing topics for the next IPD week. So let's talk about Skills for All. There's a couple, let me jump around a little bit here, and then I'll go back to that slide. I was putting multiple decks here together. We have, I think, a great foundation of classes for Cisco Networking Academy students. But what about those students that can't come to a Cisco Networking Academy? Right? Maybe somebody who can't necessarily afford tuition or isn't looking to go back to school, but wants to learn about cybersecurity or wants to learn a little bit about cloud or programming or those types of things. So there was an initiative, how do we get out some of this great material to everybody in more of a self-paced, kind of self-enroll environment where people can learn at their own pace, was truly the look at the Skills for All and the plan for Skills for All. Now, I will be honest, there is a little bitty dot way down the road where we will do a convergence of these two platforms. There's a lot of work to be done yet because this platform doesn't support what you guys are doing on NetAcad. So we've built this base Skills for All platform, and now we'll start looking at bringing other things into it. So there's a lot of things that have to be built. Think about badging and vouchers and assessments and all of that. So there will be at some point a convergence. It is so far down the road. It's definitely not this calendar year, and it's a ways down the road next calendar year. I don't have a date for you. We're trying to figure out what level of work and convergence getting everything together. But really, Skills for All can be used by Cisco Networking Academies. But it also can be used really by any learner. So the concept truly isn't too new from the fact that we had those public campaigns for self-enroll courses in netacad.com, right? There was a public class where you could go take the intro to packet tracer and you could go take intro to cybersecurity. We've just shifted those into, I think, a much more integrated and kind of cool environment for people from a learning perspective. So if we think about Skills for All, we're thinking about the free, flexible, mobile, go to anybody learner that, you know, might just need to learn Python, which we released today. I'll show you that. Or maybe they want to learn a little bit about cybersecurity and some new pathways. in this process, we're also working on mini certifications. What do I mean by mini certifications? We're looking at working with Certiport to get certifications that your students can take either through the Skills for All, right? Or when we converge, where they can get some of those more entry-level certs, right? One thing that was a big topic, I remember Kelly, I think you were sitting at Cisco Live in Vegas, I can't remember, and I get a text from Kelly and he goes, how come he didn't tell me we're getting rid of CCENT? And I'm like, well, I would have lost my job if I'd have said boo before Chuck Robbins stood up on that stage and said we were reinventing our certifications. So really, we're looking at kind of a platform for all, a platform for academies, and then at some point they will merge into, we got a lot of work to do. So don't stress and go, oh my God, you know, in the middle of fall quarter, you get a no, we're far down the road. So we'll keep you informed as much as we can. There's a lot of stuff that we haven't finalized. Once we get that finalized, we'll try to loop in the partners to give them more information. There's very little to share right now. But there's a lot of work yet to be done, and we will reach out to some different people. As part of this, so we started looking at, you know, is there really a cybersecurity certification that we can partner with Certiport and combine some mini courses together, or some smaller chunks to courses together, and come out with basically a new certification or a new place for them to exit. And maybe these people then are great feeders into your academies, where they're going to take more of the, you know, a cyber ops or a cloud security or some type of security course. So we are looking at this as what's called the cybersecurity pathway. These all combine together for a badge and a certification. Now, I'll be honest with you, this Networking Essentials is a heavy lift. I think we all know Networking Essentials is really just a subset of CCNA. And in this case, we are looking at breaking this up into smaller chunks. The thought process right now is maybe 3 chunks. So it's a little bit more palatable to the learner, because that's a pretty heavy class. Even though we've made it self-enroll, self-paced, if people want to take it, it's still a lot of content. So you'll see some changes coming up. I don't have dates for that, but we wanted to do some intro to cyber. They need some networking basics. And then we created 3 brand new kind of mini courses for Skills for All that are embedded. And the combination of these then has a certification. So, you know, you can get a badge for each of the courses. So I've got the details of the courses as well. So the 3 new courses only available on Skills for All. No, they will not be rebuilt in netacad.com. Yes, you can create what we call an instructor guided class, and I'll explain that a little bit more in Skills for All if you want to offer these offerings. So these are the course badges. We've seen Intro to Cyber, it's been around for a while. We've seen Networking Essentials, it's been for a while. We've added Endpoint Security, Network Defense, and Cyber Threat Management. Then the combination, if you finish all 5 of those, get you an additional badge called the Cybersecurity Pathway from Cisco Networking Academy. And then there's a certification that we've worked with Certiport, which is kind of a subgroup of Pearson that you can actually take a test and certify here. All right. So there's a focus on more entry level certs as well. So we have the Cisco certs, right? The bigger certs that the corporate companies putting together, but we're also trying to get these smaller groups of smaller certs that we have in place. Are these badges time? Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, yeah, are they time limited or permanent? I was trying to watch the chat for you too, Echo.
Yeah, thank you. So do you have to get all these within a certain amount of time? That's a great question. That's the first time anybody's asked me that. I think the answer is no, but Michael, I'll make sure, is there a time limit to complete all 5?
I think so. Also, Echo, the question would be, do these have to be renewed like certification, or are these badges permanent on your claim? Will they?
Yeah, at this point, we didn't have any renewal built into the certification. It was more like, you know, you had the IT specialist cybersecurity on 2020, whatever. I'll also make sure about research. I haven't heard anything. We're going 90 miles an hour on these small things, and we're also trying to make sure that we keep up to speed. So I'll make sure I get those back to Kelly as well. So we also have what's called instructor guided. Now, don't go out to Skills for All and go, oh, I can create really an EduCAD class and I got an LMS. And no. you have the ability to create any of these classes on Skills for All in what we call instructor guided. It doesn't have a full LMS. Basically, what you get is the content, and you can track who's enrolled in the course, and you can track what assessments they've taken. So this is not an LMS. This is more about watching the progress of your students. So if you wanted to build these courses into your course at the school, maybe use your LMS, and then you point to these courses that they can enroll in and be able to take. So we're trying to do a little bit different learning experience. The plan was to never have a full LMS right now in Skills for All. It started off as a platform for everybody across the globe. Doesn't matter who you are, just need internet access. Then we started adding in the instructor guided feature. So you can create a class, have people enroll in the class. There are a number of videos. I'll show you a couple links that will be important to you and some how-tos in how do you do instructor guided, how do you get it to work. We are adding new features to it probably every 4 weeks or so. So what I tell you now may change a little bit in the future. Best thing to do is watch the May IPD Week program update that'll come up, and we'll update everything that's new on that session for sure. So it is, you know, free, flexible. You can use your netacad.com to log into this environment. Okay. Yes, the nice thing, Kelly, is this is built from a phone perspective first. So mobile, you know, pure mobile friendly. And, you know, that's the focus, and also more interactive. Just kind of a side note, I know you're recording. We did bring on a new guy that's got some mathematical gaming experience. We're going to see how that fits into some of the classes. So there's a few new things from a platform perspective that we're building into these courses, and hiring some people to really put it together, people that are already doing it. So instead of taking our curriculum people and trying to make them do some of the stuff, bring in those people to collaborate with the curriculum group and get some more interactive activities. So what is this instructor guided experience? You know, there's a lot of detail in here, but really it's around letting you use these mobile first classes available however you want them. We have some people across the globe that are using them as feeder classes. So they're creating classes or giving links to the public class and letting students take them at the high school, and then say, hey, if you take this, this, and this, then look, we got the CyberOps class, or we've got the CCNA class. Some people are looking at the cert, how it would work maybe in things that they're designing and making it maybe part of the first part of a cybersecurity degree. So it's brand new, so people are just learning what that content is. And we do have some scope and sequence documents we can share as well. So the instructor guided is not an LMS. It allows you to create a course, enroll some students, and just watch them take the exams and basically the final in the progress of the course. Big differences here, netacad.com, you know, these are localized. We had self-paced courses, but they weren't like the new ones. So I don't know if you've noticed, but all those public self-paced courses that we had available, if you click on those links now, they go to Skills for All. Like the old, you know, the intro to Packet Tracer will now take you over to Skills for All. You know, netacad is around course customization, class management, student messaging, whole different focus here. This is Skills for All is really about, you know, new, easy, portable, interactive, and really all we're having you do is monitor your student progress at this point, but we are adding new features. We do have English only for now, which is probably fine for this group. We are starting to look at Spanish, French, Portuguese, and we're doing a lot of extra work right now in translation to Ukrainian for obvious reasons. We've got a couple different initiatives with netacad supporting people where they're not really quite ready in most cases to start training because things are in such turmoil right now, but putting a plan together to help those people, you know, cybersecurity and IT and those types of jobs coming forward. So you'll start seeing Ukrainian releases in languages too. You know, you could use these courses to create a pipeline. You could reach more students, stay relevant, however you want. You guys know more about it. There are some different pages. I wanted to give you this link, and let me put this in chat. Got it here on another screen. So if nothing else, this is probably the bookmark that you should bookmark to keep up on Skills for All. So this has kind of the, you know, overview. It talks about what is Skills for All. Probably what's important is looking at, you know, what courses are available. I've got a slide to show you, but we just released the Python Essentials 1, which we took the Python, the Programming Essentials in Python class, which is 8 modules. We took the first 4 modules and we made them available in Skills for All. We will take the next 4 modules and it'll be Python Essentials 2. We'll make those available later, probably a few months down the road, so you can watch for that as well. So here you can find more information for each of these classes. So this is probably the one link to keep on top, so you can find the details, what's coming out. Not so much for this group, but translation is huge. A lot of people wanting to know when the Spanish and the French is being offered. What translations are we starting with and what language are we starting with? So you'll see a lot of Ukrainian here as we go through this. You'll see some of the same images and slides. And then if you're interested, there's a couple resources down here around, Laura and Chuck Robbins talking about the Skills for All. There's an FAQ deep dive, a how-to guide. There's some videos in here if that helps you out as well. So lots of detail, and this is the page that we keep updating them. You'll see just today, we released the Python Essentials now on Skills for All, and then we added the translations are coming with some additional information. Okay, so that bookmark is probably a good one. All right, so let's talk a little more about the classes. So this is the Python Essentials class released today. It is the first 4 modules. Think of the Python class is around 60 hours, so it's about 30 hours out of the class. So we've broken Python into 2 pieces and released the first piece in Skills for All. Other than looking cool, there's not a lot of updates here. So it's not like you're missing out on anything in Python. I think there might have been 1 or 2 bug fixes, grammar things that were fixed, but we didn't update the class. We didn't change the material. We didn't update the material. It just looks cooler in the Skills for All platform as opposed to the GUI and the interface that we have. So nothing new. And again, this is one of the classes without alignment, without instructor training requirement, and no physical equipment as well. So that released today out there, and you can see recommended next course, Python Essentials 2, coming in the next few months. Here is the one slider on the cybersecurity pathway. I wanted to put, Kelly, all of these in one deck for you so that you'd have them to be able to reuse or send out as people ask. So remember, this pathway is the pathway of the 5 courses all together. It does have a digital badge from Cisco, and then the alignment is called IT Specialist Security from Certiport. And then there's some links in the slides that'll take you back out to the Skills for All pages. 3 cybersecurity new classes. This is the endpoint security. Notice that we're trying to break these into smaller chunks. This is a 40-hour class. Recommended prep. Remember, in the pathway, it's Intro to Cyber, Networking Essentials, then Endpoint Security. These classes, of course, no ASC alignment right now, no instructor training required, no physical equipment required. That doesn't mean that an ITC can't probably package these up as a pathway and offer an ITC offering. I think there's a great potential there that, maybe for high schools or different NGOs and other groups that might be looking for those types of courses, kind of do a deep dive. Go take a look at them. I think you'll like kind of the interface, the way things are working out. So this is one of those 5 classes, one of 3 of the new ones. The next course is called Network Defense. This is another 40-hour course that is basically kind of the 4th one in this pathway series. You guys can take a look around, building your cybersecurity foundation, explore career possibilities, develop skills to create layered defense, in-depth cybersecurity strategy. Cybersecurity threat management, that's the 5th and final in the pathway, the 3rd of the new courses. This is kind of 20 hours, kind of wrapping it all together. Build the cybersecurity foundation again, explores careers as always, and is developing skills for managing threats, such as how to assess a network for vulnerabilities, manage risk, and respond to security incidents. All right. Any questions on those? I don't think, I still map to netacad.com instead of Skills for All. Yep. Totally understand.
I do want to make a quick note about how in that pathway, everyone, I know if we've already had CCNA 1, don't forget you can enroll them in that pathway and just let them do the final exam for networking essentials. And then once they pass that, they won't have to do that in the full 70 hours. So you can put them in that pathway, and then they're only going to have to do the intro stuff and the endpoint and the other, and not redo networking essentials. So there are ways around that. Right now, we can't map them. If they've done CCNA 1, you can't give them credit for networking essentials. But if you put them in that pathway, just have them do the final. and do it
Yeah,
that way.
and that's a great point. I'm gonna see if there's any way to connect those. When we converge, we can. At this point, it's not possible the way the two different systems are set up, but I want to make sure that that is on the radar. Because really, when we first built the first version of Networking Essentials, it really was a subset of CCNA, like 70% of the content or something like that. Yep. You got a 404 error on the link. Make sure you're logged in first. That might be part of the problem if you're not logged into the link I gave you is the netacad.com resource to find out all the Skills for All updates. I know that sounds odd, but we have some people who haven't gone to Skills for All yet. So we want to keep our netacad.com audience up to date. So you can log into Skills for All with your netacad login. So you don't have to create, for a while, you had to have a separate login because they were so separate. Now, at least from a database standpoint, you can get to both of those. All right. Cisco Packet Tracer. There's some new courses and a new Packet Tracer version. The new Packet Tracer version, you're like, gosh, wasn't a lot of time between the 8.10 and the 8.11. Well, the one down here is a bug fix. If you had a Macintosh, you were not happy with us recently. So all of our developers have Macs, and they built out the new Packet Tracer. And as soon as we released it, as people would open it, and the screen reader would read everything on the screen in Packet Tracer on a Mac. Now, you could try to disable everything and you could finally get around it, but it was very annoying. Something that we didn't see in any of our Macintoshes internally. So we quickly released the next version there. And, we have that intro to Packet Tracer. Hopefully you guys have been using that. A lot of people just let their students kind of self-enroll and go through it. Other people make it more formal. What we really wanted to do is take that course, chop it up into pieces, make it more manageable, and allow your students to go through kind of some of them just need to know the basics. They don't need to know the IoT part. So the old course had 8 modules, the 5, 6, 7, and 8 were the IoT, and you're like, just ignore those. So the first course that we released is called Getting Started with Cisco Packet Tracer. This is only on Skills for All. Okay? It is not in the netacad.com. If you listen to any of the videos, you might recognize the voice. I took a stretch assignment and did the videos for Intro to Packet Tracer just to try something different. Very quickly realized I couldn't finish the rest of the series time-wise. So this is kind of 2 hours beginner information. The next course in the flow is more around exploring the networks. So now you're getting more about managing the network and doing more components within that. Then we basically wanted to pull out the Internet of Things into a separate course because it is kind of a specific audience. I think it's a great feature, but some students got lost very quickly. If you do all of these and then you take what's called the Introduction to Packet Tracer exam, then you can earn a badge. So there are their own badges for finishing this series. We're experiencing a thunderstorm here. All right. Hey, be safe. That's the most important thing, right? All right. So here's the Getting Started with Cisco Packet Tracer. It is, 2 hours, just the basic information. I won't go through it all. I wanted to make sure you had the slide. Here's the Exploring Networking with Cisco Packet Tracer. So you also have that deep dive information. The Skills for All Exploring IoT with Cisco Packet Tracer one-pager. And then, so if you go through, this material, then you can take this Introduction to Packet Tracer exam and get a digital badge for Introduction to Packet Tracer. So you do need to take, basically 8 hours of content to go through. So you're ready to take the exam to get the Introduction to Packet Tracer badge. Okay, any questions on that? Whoops, sorry. We do want to say that because of this, we are going to end of life the Introduction to Packet Tracer that's in netacad.com. As you've noticed, it's hard to keep up with the GUI. It's hard to keep up with the menu. It's hard to keep up with the features. And so this class is out of date. We realize it's out of date. I would, if I were you, if you want to track that your students have done the class, I would go out and create an instructor guided class in Skills for All for the Packet Tracer. Watch your students. If that's part of your grade, you check it off, right? If you don't care whether they go through it, but you want them to go through it, you're not going to track it, they can go out there and sign up for basically the public campaign class that is an instructor guided. And then, maybe they take a screenshot and show you that they took the exam. So there's a couple different ways to do that. People have used this class a lot of different ways, but it's not worth us going back and trying to update these 8 modules in this older format when this format does a better job in mobile, except, I thought it was funny. I'm like, so we have intro to packet tracer class for mobile, but we can't run the packet tracer on mobile, right? And they're like, yes. I'm like, okay, I just want to make sure I got that. All right, so also in packet tracer, just so you guys know, this is coming out. This last one was really around bug fixes, but we're working on what are called packet tracer tutored activities. This is not something you can create. I'm hoping it's some glimmer at the end of the tunnel that this is something we can build in with you guys with your own hinting and materials, but we're still fine tuning the interface. What it does, and this is built into that first introduction to packet tracer, there's one example in there that walks you through, it'll ask you what the hint. There's a slider bar at the bottom of packet tracer in these activities that say, how many hints do you want? Do you want the, I don't really need a hint, I'm good? Or do you need the, I probably need a few, or I don't even know what packet tracer is, turn them all on. So as you go through this, there'll be a hint button that'll help you do the next thing. Like, click on Seward, go into the wiring closet, click on this device. And so it'll hint you through this. So in these self-paced courses, we're hoping this will help learners a bit more and your learners as well as they try to do the brand new stuff, not the challenge lab stuff, right? That's not the hinting we want. It's the learning the concept or learning the packet tracer is the most important. Equipment updates. Kelly, you tell me what all you need to know, but I did just pull the switch stuff for now. So if you need more than this, let me know. The 2960 has been end of life. Now, please note, you guys have 2960s. I'm pretty sure there's probably some 1900s in a closet somewhere that you can't get rid of. Maybe some 2950s. Some of you might have some of those old 2500 routers. So just because we end of sale something does not mean that it's not valid. The CCNA curriculum right now, version 7, was built on the 2960 devices, the switches. Okay. There is a regression document out there under the equipment folder, which means really the only big differences you need to worry about within CCNA are the port numbering, right? So the port numbering has changed quite a bit. So you might want to go out and take a look at that. So this is that, caveats for CCNA 7. We got the gigabit Ethernet ports instead of the fast Ethernet ports. And there's a few changes around the SDM for supporting IPv6. So those are the big differences. Now, this is actually a cheaper switch than this after the Neticat discount, but you need to know it does not do programmability. Now, CCNA does not require programmability labs right now, right? Even DevNet does not require a physical device to do this on. But if it was me in my classroom, I would probably buy some of these because of the cheap price point and a great way to fill in my lab, but I'd probably be looking at a couple other devices. So the 3650 is the CCNP layer 3 switch. It's been replaced with a CAT 9300. This one does do programmability, but it is a much higher price point. So let's talk about the switch purchasing options. This is more important to me. Now, we can't, for whatever reason, sell the CAT 1000 in Australia. There's some reason. Somebody somewhere said, nope, it's got the wrong encryption, blah, 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 I don't know. So good for us, we were able to add the 9200 switch to the equipment list. Now, little known fact, all we check when you guys buy equipment on the equipment list is that you're teaching at least CCNA. So you can buy off of the CCNP list. You can buy off of the Australia list. That's fine. You can buy off the network security list, which is really trimmed back now. You can purchase really anything on that list. So if it was me in my classroom and I started buying some new switches, I'd bring these in because of the cheap price point. And in Cisco One, they're plugging and unplugging. You just need a cheap, make sure they know what they're doing. But I'd probably buy a few of the 9200s so that I could play around with the DevNet labs on actual equipment. Maybe in CCNA, the CCNA 3 class, the ENSA class, I might take one of the emerging technology workshop labs that's done on the virtual 1000 V switch, which basically is the same kind of switch, and I might have them do it on equipment in the classroom. So you might want to sprinkle a few of these in here. They are definitely less expensive than this 9300. This 9300 gets expensive. Now, remember, we're getting into switches and automation, so there's a lot more features than that base layer 2, layer 3 switch than we've ever had in the past. I need you to know that we are way out on these. If you're going to try to buy a switch right now, and even some of our routers, we are 6 months plus out on getting them to you. And it is all part of the chip shortage. We can get everything else, we get all the other pieces together, but we're really having 400 plus days. Last I checked, it was 180 last I checked. So are you hearing, Kelly, that we're out that far?
The last time I checked, both vendors I talked to were 400 plus days.
Okay, I'm going to go back and look at our Sales Connect.
That was the 2 vendors I was dealing with now. And
Okay.
I've been waiting since last July for a 9300.
Yeah, this whole thing has really put us in a bind. You should have seen the hoops we had to go through to get some for ourselves to put in the Phoenix Net Lab to test all of our labs and do regression testing. They're like, well, the customers come first. And we're like, well, okay, but we have, 12,000 customers, academies that are going to want to purchase this and ask us what works and what doesn't. Okay. So the price of the Cat 1000, we're not supposed to physically say. You can ask Kelly when I drop off the call. It is cheaper price point than what the 2960 was. In the US, we get about a 70% discount. So I can't talk price. Kelly can tell you whatever he wants as a ITC and ASC support person. So he'll have that. And really any Cisco partner can do a pricing for you. So if you're thinking about this, especially if it's your next fiscal year, you might want to get on it earlier than later just because of the delivery dates. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of people didn't realize, well, so here's the catch 22 on putting equipment on an equipment list. If we say you have to have the 9200, then people can't afford it. And they're like, but programmability is not required in CCNA. Why did you make me buy this really higher end device, which is much more expensive? If we put the Cat 1000 on there, which does support everything you need to do currently in CCNA, then people are like, oh, okay, that's a cheaper version, but wait, nobody told me it didn't do programmability. So another reason to come to the program updates is I tried to, the minute we put these new switches on there, have a slide similar to this that talked about the 1000 not having programmability. I'm not sure where else to put it because officially when I go to product team goes, but there's no automation labs in CCNA, so you don't need it. And DevNet has a virtual machine, so you don't physically need it. So but remember, as you look at buying the next set of switches, maybe start buying some of the 9200s. By the time, DevNet and CCNA have a new update, don't ask me. I don't know. I don't have any internal information. As soon as I say that, somebody says, what do you know? I don't know anything, but I assume we're going to see more and more programmability and more automation as we go along, right? That's just the nature of the beast. So, who knows what'll happen. And right now the plan is if we had a CCN update, which doesn't exist at this point, we would build it off of the Cat 1000 for all the base labs. And then if there was automation labs, we might build it in like the 92 and the 9300 for people who wanted to buy them, but hopefully boost up Packet Tracer to support some of that as well. All right. Other questions are, yes, the 9200s. And the 9300. So all of the 9000 series are programmable. It's just this Cat 1000 that doesn't do the programmability. Okay. Any other equipment questions? All right. So I did put some more slides in here. And Kelly, you tell me what's most important. And I have a zillion slides I can pull up, whichever you want the hottest topics. I could talk about the SE Connect program that we have. For academies to get an SE to come to your classroom and do something. This is becoming a hot topic, and you may have already shared this with your customer, but the continuing ed credits for NetAcad and how it works.
Go over that. I shared it, but let's go over it again because that's a big one.
All right. So it was determined when we went to this new set of certifications that we would start using continuing ed credits for certification renewal. All right, so CE is continuing ed credits. If you go out to the website, it will show you what the continuing ed credit requirements are for these certifications. So if you're at the associate level, which is CCNA, DevNet associate, CyberOps associate, all of those, basically we're looking at either 30 or 40 continuing ed credits for renewal. Okay, or you just go take another associate level exam. So an A-level exam renews an A-level exam. So if you take CyberOps associate, it'll renew your CCNA. If you take DevNet associate, it'll renew both of those. But maybe you've got a class with Kelly and you're like, wait, what is this CE credit thing Echo's talking about? Maybe I should look at this. So what you can do is we allow the earning of CE credits on 4 classes in Netiquette. So these are Netiquette classes. These aren't partner classes. This isn't learning at Cisco. These are our Netiquette courses. If you complete the CyberOps associate with the same, think of the requirements for CE credits as the same as a voucher. You have to get a 70% on the first attempt of the final and be marked complete in the class for the CE credits. Okay. So CyberOps would earn you 30 credits, which would renew your CCNA. DevNet associate would earn you 40 credits, and 30 of those could be used towards your CCNA. Now, if you are you going to Cisco Live this year, Kelly? Okay, there are also things at Cisco Live that can earn you credits if you go to some special areas and some special workshops, but these are the course related ones. Here is the CCNP Enterprise, which is 64 credits, CCNP Enterprise Advanced Routing, which is 40 credits. Now, it's important that you do these submissions within 90 days of course completion. Let me say that again. If you do not submit your request within 90 days of course completion, they will basically boot it. It'll be declined. Super duper duper easy to get in there. You go out to ce.cisco.com, continuinged.cisco.com, and there's this submit items. And as you go through the list, you will see DevNet Associate. Don't worry about DevNet Associate Fundamentals and DevNet Associate Fundamentals Print. Those are learning partner classes. So we're looking for the Netiquette classes. And these drop downs change a little bit each time, about every 6 months. So you're going to find DevNet. You're going to take it from the Networking Academy. And then the provider's Networking Academy, you're going to put in your start and your completion date, which you should be able to get on the course details page of the course that you took on I'm Learning. It takes us about 7 to 14 days to process that. Why do we say 7 to 14 days? In case somebody is on PTO, paid time off, it's our word for vacation, then they can be gone a week and still come back and process these. So that's why you always see something like 10 to 14 days or 7 to 14 days in case somebody's out, we don't have a backup. You receive 2 emails. You'll get one that says you've submitted it, and then you'll get one that basically tells you if you are approved or denied. So, if you're really thinking about taking, probably DevNet is the most recent one. If you're thinking of adding that, this would be a great way to renew, hopefully, your CCNA. Now, a question often comes up, why isn't CCNA in here? This is continuing ed credits for renewal. You have to renew something. So the base course they plan on saying is basically the base networking class, which is CCNA. So if you took CCNA and you already had your CyberOps, you wouldn't be able to use credits the other way. So they think of CCNA as the base. Doesn't mean you have to have CCNA. You could do CyberOps and then renew it with DevNet. But that's why you don't see CCNA on here. Okay.
And just so it's clear, the 30 credits are enough to renew your CCNA. So any of these would renew CCNA if you take these.
Yep.
If you do CCNP Encore, you're doing double the work, but it would definitely do it.
Yep. Yeah. So any questions on the continuing ed credits? Okay. I have lots of other slides. I didn't know how much you wanted me to go into equipment, Kelly, and you let me start a little early.
That's okay. A good question was, how long is the renewal for? It's for the full 3 years.
It should be the 3 years. So
Yep.
It should be a full 3-year renewal. Now, remember, it probably the time you finish the class didn't work perfect for you in your current cert. Does that make sense? So you might be, 2 years into your CCNA and you have to renew it at 2 years, and then you get another 3 years. So the renewal date may not be perfect for you, but you do get 3 years out of the continuing ed credits. Yeah, perfect. The only other thing, and I'll make sure you have these, Kelly, I think we sent out another email out recently, is we do have a submission form if you're interested in getting one of the Cisco SEs, the system engineer, to connect to your classroom. It's really an easy submission form. You put in your name and then what kinds of things are you looking for. So you might have them come in and you just want them to talk about DNA Center and do a demo, or you want them to come in and talk about their job journey, or you want them to talk about a current product and how are they selling it. And maybe you're curious what's happening at the ISP level, or maybe you're curious about, kind of VoIP and how does that all fit into everything. And I mean, the possibilities are endless. Maybe you want them to maybe have them do, this is one thing I love doing. I had them do mock interviews with the Cisco SEs. Which is a little more, requirement, but they gave some great feedback on entry-level jobs. So this program's been around for a while. It is underutilized quite badly. And you'll have the slides, and it's basically just the CSCO SE Connect will get you out to the form. All right. Any other questions? Great program. Cool. Yes, it's way underutilized, Jessie. Yep, huge.
I agree. It is definitely underutilized by us, so we need to make sure we do it.
If we don't start using it, it's going to go away.
It's going to go away, and it's a shame because it's just a fantastic program. You can get SEs that have been around for years that can come to your class and do a great brown bag session on just about any topic, like Echo said. I mean, to her point, it's just a great program.
So I'm going to stay on Q&A for a minute in case anything pops up that Jessie can't get, but I'm jumping into another WebEx for our Linux webinars that are coming up for our other project. So please feel free, ask me a question. Is SE Connect virtual or live? You mean in person or virtual? Is that what you mean? If you can find an SE close by, and we're kind of at the end of March, ended our complete, they still have to get VP approval to travel, but it could be live. I wouldn't count on live between now and summer, just because there's a lot of people who still need VP approval, and so they're keeping it. But next year, I think we'll do a lot better. But yeah, I think even just having them come in virtually would be great.
I think the bottom line is if you have an SC with whom you work with on a regular basis, and you're purchasing equipment from them and so forth, they're more than happy to do this. And they typically, I mean, I say this loosely, typically they're ready to roll, and they're really able to go on a one-on-one. I've visited with the folks in Richardson quite a bit, and
they're disappointed that there's not more options for them to grab up. So
absolutely.
And I would love to see my area flood them, folks. Let's flood them to the point where they don't have enough SEs to come to your classroom.
Yep.
And I would love to see that by now in the end of into May. It's especially those of you who've got students who are graduating. This is the perfect time to get an SC in to tell them about, what do I do in my next career move? What am I going to do? How do I make myself stand out? So that the at cs.co.sc connect, if you are not already using that, make sure you get someone in your classroom ASAP, because it's something we need to start using, or unfortunately it will go away.
Hey, you can ask.
Yeah, hold on, Jessie, I need to drop. So thanks everybody for your time. I appreciate it. I'm going to stay on Q&A. And so I'll kind of watch Q&A in Zoom while I jump back over to WebEx. Everybody have a great day. Hope things are going well. You got a great support in Kelly, and if Kelly doesn't know, he'll drop me an email, and if I forget, he'll send me another one. That's how it works with Echo. So thanks everybody. We appreciate it. All the best.
Thank you.
And I removed your co-host permission, so you can drop when you need to, and you won't kill us.
Okay, thank you.
All right, everybody. Any other questions before we let Jessie get started? By the way, if you go to that link, you just click on English, and then the next link is, and by the way, let me do this. I'll share my screen real quick, Jessie, then we'll get you going. But if you click on that link that was put there, you'll get this. If you're logged into NetAcad, you click on English or Spanish, man, if you want to do Spanish, then click the submission link, and put in your information, and they will, it's literally that simple. You know, what day would you like for them to be there? You give a range because they can't promise you a specific date, but give a range. And then pretty much, you know, it's very quick that they will get in touch with you and say, hey, we got ASC for you, we get you together. So please start taking advantage of this. I cannot stress how important this is. If you will remember, 2 years ago, right when COVID broke out and things went sideways, we had the engineer at our in-person meeting at down at the other SCC, Sandhills Community College, one of the many SCCs. And we talked about this program just rolling out. We need to really start making use of it now, because if we don't, it's been 2 years and I'm scared they're going to make it go away.
This program has been around for 4 years. It's just that people don't know it. I did the very first presentation of this program at the Oklahoma conference 4 years ago with Gabe Berryman. And I still don't see people taking advantage of it. In 4 years, I have had one SC, reach out to me and say, hey, Jessie, what's this all about? And it was somebody from, I believe, from the Houston area. And I explained to the SC what it was about, and they went out and they talked to the class. But yes, please use it and abuse it.
Yeah,
or lose it.
Do that.
Yeah,
I'll try to do some type of incentive to get things going. So, all right, Jessie, you are a co-host. You can share.
Okay.
So it's everyone. If you don't know Jessie Pagan, Jessie is our business development manager for who knows how many states now, but I know it's North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and multiple others. So we'll let Jessie go ahead and give us a state of the union, or state of the area, shall we say?
Yeah. So thank you, Kelly. Listen, so I'm going to go through the first few slides pretty quickly because, you know, pretty much it's all a lot of things that we know, and I'm going to share the deck with you guys. If you want to go back and share and take a look at some of the numbers, you know, that's great. But I do have some great news at the end of the slide deck that I think it's extremely important. I'd rather spend my time on that. So as an FYI, we have hired a new BDM. His name is Clint Abrams, a very, very nice young gentleman, formerly from TAC. He actually came through the Cisco Networking Academy. So goes to show that our program does work. Our geo has actually morphed yet again. So as you can see there, the light blue states are the ones that I now manage again. Kind of strange. I still don't manage Florida any longer. That's been given to Clint. I live in Florida. I manage North Carolina. Clint lives in North Carolina. Go figure. In any event, it's this is how it lies right now. I think that for those of you who know Marie Zwickert in the Northeast, pretty much Clint and I have been covering for her. She's probably going to be out, I'm guessing, another couple of weeks. So it's been a pretty intense few months, and we wish her all the best. Very quickly, I just want to let you know we're now over 3 million currently enrolled students. You can see all the other numbers there. I don't want to run through that too much. This is the impact profile for North Carolina. About 13,000 current students. Total students closed, but probably over 100,000 by now. 18% are female. You see some of the numbers there. I believe we're about 100 schools right now in North Carolina. So I think North Carolina has now been, well, it's one of my very key states. It's in the top 3 states in the nation in terms of student enrollment and growth. So just so you know, it's something that you should all be very proud of. South Carolina, pretty much the same. It actually, South Carolina saw the largest growth of any state in the nation in double-digit growth. You see some of the numbers there. And again, kudos to Kelly and several of you that work with North Carolina, the South Carolina, because it's just all going very, very well. Georgia, again, Georgia, my 3rd key state. I wanted to make sure I mentioned it. About 50,000 students total since inception, about 4,500 students. We're in the process of doing a lot of different projects in the state of Georgia. They have a new CODA building out there, And we are working with Georgia Tech and several of the technical colleges out there. I know that Kelly does, he manages a lot of schools in Georgia. So I've worked with him in unison as well in this particular state. Lastly, my friend Clint was not able to join us today. I think he's going to be on the 19th, you said, Kelly. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys a brief update. If you are, by any chance, from Florida, this is the impact profile, and I just wanted to be able for you folks to see it. Now, I want to talk about 3 important different projects. A couple of them you already know, but I still want to be able to talk about it. Talent Bridge program, connecting talent to opportunity. You should all know about this program unless you're relatively new to the Cisco Networking Academy. This is basically a matching engine. netacad.com/careers/TB for Talent Bridge. A lot of different really cool stuff here. Mainly, this is a program where we match skills to jobs. It's pretty straightforward. We have over 300 partners with whom we work, and they place their opportunities online. You have to be 18 years or older to be able to be a student that is able to open up a profile on here. But you see some of the criteria there, some of the things that we're able to add. Career advice is a great prep workshop for career. Talk about LinkedIn here in a minute. And then the Dream Team opportunities. The Dream Team, if you don't know about the Dream Team, this is basically we go out into the nation and we handpick between 10 and 20 students. It's been on hiatus for the last couple of years. We're back with the Dream Team, and basically we take the Dream Team to Cisco Live, and then those students help the Network Operating Center with putting up the AP network or the wireless network. Typically, they're there for about 5 to 7 days, and Cisco picks up the tab for that. So if you see I'm sure that Kelly sent it because I've seen the emails fly around. Make sure that you afford the students the opportunity to at least apply for this. Again, Talent Bridge. The one thing I'd like for you to take notice is there's been about 33,000 students that have reported that this particular matching engine has helped them find a job over the course of the last 5 years. Just some incredible numbers there. Pretty easy for the candidates. Log into netacad.com, complete the profile, review the opportunity and matches, apply to opportunities, and hopefully you'll have your students getting hired. I highly encourage you to please share this with your students if you haven't already. It's just something that, even if they're just turning 18, we want to encourage them to go through and start taking a look at the opportunities. And the reason is this: we are currently in a collaboration. It's an early stage collaboration with Manpower. We have a pilot that's going to be in a handful of cities. We don't know exactly yet where it's going to be, but we're working that out. Bottom line is, I had a conversation with them today. They are currently hiring 9 individuals to work at the Cisco Caudle labs and or advanced services. Now they're looking for 6 engineers at Caudle, 3 for advanced services. I can tell you, I used to work for advanced services as an engineer for a period of about 12 to 13 years. And it's a phenomenal experience for an individual. Day shifts available for advanced services from 8 to 5. Caudle is available from 7 to 4. This is the day shifts. There are night shifts available for 2 individuals for the second shift, and that goes from 3 to midnight. And then the super critical need right now is the third shift, or as we normally would call it, the graveyard shift. And that is for 2 individuals at the third shift from 11 to 8. All the openings are pretty critical, but again, the third shift is the one that's super critical right now.
Jesse,
Now,
is this in Raleigh?
This is all in Raleigh. Yes.
All
I'm
in
sorry.
RTP.
All in
Okay.
RTP. This is all the information. I don't want to go through every single one of these things. You're welcome to read it at your leisure. But the bottom line is, here are the responsibilities: basically configuring routers, switches, network segments, and so forth. Pretty much what they do in school for the most part. And then the technical skills and experience, pretty self-explanatory. So if you have students that you think might fit the bill, I highly encourage you to share this with your students. We're looking for them right now. We need them like a month ago. I just found out about this opportunity today. So it was well positioned because I did have the conversation and I wanted to share it with you.
Jesse, Harry just asked, where can you get this information? Can you send that to us and a link to where these jobs are at so we can get them to everybody?
I'm going to send you I'm going to share with you the deck.
Okay.
Just use what I have presented here. If you have a candidate, run it through me and I'll make sure that Manpower reaches out to them. But I do want to make sure that the school is also involved. I want to make sure I keep Kelly and the school involved, the instructor. I want to keep everyone involved because we want to make sure that we all know about these successes, right? So if you have any student in mind and they agree to this, then just please send me an email and I'll make sure that it gets to the right hands. Any other questions?
Nope, I dropped your email into the chat. So
yeah, please do. LinkedIn, I think everybody should know, Cisco Networking Academy, hit follow, have your students go through that. Okay, so I'm sure that most of you have probably by now heard of the social justice initiative that was announced just about 2 years ago by our CEO, Chuck. And basically, it's based on the premise of 13 beliefs and actions, right? And you can actually go online and take a look at that. We're basically, dedicated to combating racial inequities. As a minority, I'm telling you, we are not only in this project for HBCUs, but we're also working on the Hispanic project, and then also the tribal communities as well. This project has now been running for approximately about a year and a half. And basically what we're doing is we're working with HBCUs. We're reactivating some of the schools that kind of dropped off. We are trying to onboard some of the other ones. We've got about 34 HBCUs that are active right now, 22 actively teaching. Kelly has been front and center in terms of training instructors and so forth. And it's going very, very well. We have a plethora of action items and different things that we're providing, donating to HBCUs as part of our social justice initiative. So if you happen to know somebody that's part of an HBCU and hasn't heard of the HBCU project, please let me know, because it's something that's very important. I'm leading this project, and our goal, our vision is to at least have 70 plus HBCUs onboarded into the Networking Academy. That's all I have for today, Kelly. I always love to do Q&A and work from there. If we have any questions that we want to bring to the table right now, I'm a pretty transparent guy. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. And those that I can't answer, I'll tell you that I can't, and I'll try to get back to you on them.
Everybody, we've got plenty of time to ask questions of Jessie. So if you want to, go ahead and ask away.
It's a quiet group today.
Yeah, it's rainy. I think they're all sleepy.
All righty then. Well, you have my email address. Feel free to reach out with any questions you might have. above and beyond being able to, if you have any candidates, please send them my way. We really want to be able to place students in jobs, and we've been placing a bunch of students in jobs for years in the Raleigh quarter and the RTP quarter. It's just that typically we don't talk much about it, but I can tell you we've been placing a bunch of students with different partners and so forth over in the RTP quarter. So.
It's also been really good too, and it's been in the last 4 or 5 years we've been able to kind of get the folks at RTP to see they don't need a 4-year degree to work at Cisco.
They don't.
You know, they are seeing that our students, instead of having to put them, well, they still put them through the 6-month CCNA boot camp, but our students, a lot of them are going there with all the information already in their, you know, they're just needing to be polished basically, instead of the 4-year degree students, which I will never say don't get a 4-year degree, even though I worked at a 2-year school, because obviously it gives you options. You know, heaven forbid I had to go back to teaching English. I could do it if I had to. I don't want to, but I could. So that's always an option. But we're really starting to see well, we've seen in the past 5 years, Cisco said, hey, these are great students, let's get them. So
yeah, we've seen, you know, that's a great point, Kelly. You know, we've seen a paradigm shift over the last 20 to 25 years where you had to have a 4-year degree and then certifications were optional. Then all of a sudden it was hey, if you have a certification, you got a 2-year degree, you're making $100K plus. And then those days went away. Again, the 4-year degree came about, maybe a little bit of certification. Now, I think industry, just across the board, people are seeing, hey, you might have a 2-year degree, you might be in high school and go through the Army or Navy, Air Force, Marines, have 2 or 3 certifications under your belt and a ton of experience, maybe not have that 4-year degree, but you're still a phenomenal engineer. So there's been a lot of different changes over the years, and I think that we're sitting in a platinum moment for students to be able to really, hone in their, their skills and, be able to get 3, 4, 5 certifications. I've seen students come out of high school with CyberOps, Python, and CCNA. It's not impossible, but I've seen it done. So, and these students go on and make great money. So, but I agree with Kelly. I would never not encourage someone not to get a 4-year degree. I think it's highly important, and but the certifications.
I do think it's changed. Now we've got to see, in my opinion, now we need, the networking companies have seen this. Now we've got to get this to the cybersecurity companies, because you'll see all these cybersecurity companies want 4-year degrees and 8 years of experience to hire you. So they're not going to find those people. So we've got to kind of get those security companies to make decisions about, hey, here's how we're going to do this. So,
and I've actually seen one more point. I've actually seen across the region in the South, there used to be 1 or 2 states in my region. One state in particular, I remember, in order for you to be a NetAcad instructor, you had to have a certification, you had to have a master's degree, you had to have worked in the field for 5 years, and then I think they started you like at $30,000. It just doesn't work like that. I mean, let's face it. And I had a hard time finding instructors in that particular state. A couple of states. But I think that's kind of changed over the last 5 years. Like Kelly said, it's been a little bit more relaxed. And state of Texas, now you can go teach with a 2-year degree, certification, and experience. So,
good deal.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Jesse, and just hang around for some Q&A too here later if something does come up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to drop Kelly. I got another thing going on, but phone's available. So if you need me, let me know.
No problem. Thank you so much. Let me get you remove co-host permission so you don't accidentally kill us when you drop. You're good.
And I'll drop you the deck on box.
Okay, that'd be great. And I'll have it available for everybody.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
God
Jesse.
bless. Have a great day.
You too. All right, so everyone, we're going to move on to the summer of learning update. So this is about learning, not love. You know, we are going to be talking about, we are in the process of giving away 100 free CCNA 1 slots, instructor training slots. We have 12 slots left. I don't know how it got miscommunicated, but some folks thought it couldn't be used for adjuncts. This can be for anybody, adjuncts or full-time. It does not have to be anybody. It does not have to be someone who's full-time at your school. So I have 12 slots left. I have 3 slots kind of claimed that I'm holding. So if you got anybody, get their name and email address to me as soon as possible so I can get them on the list. So that's 100 free CCNA 1 slots for the summer. That's kind of the update on the summer of free learning. Now, what I do want to do, just since we've got some extra time here, I want to show you a couple things so that you know where to get information about us. If you've never been to our ASC ITC site, under future students or current students, but it's typically just under future students, you'll see ASC ITC. So if you go to stanley.edu, remember we're 2-porta for the vowel. So it's STANLY. We do not have an E, we're 2-porta by it. So go to ASC ITC under future students. This will take you to our page, and you can either look at the ASC, which gives you information about this is our support contract. Michael will be talking more about the process for the support contract and invoicing and all I believe it's next week or the week after. If you click on the other item, the ITC, the most important thing here really is our training schedule, which is always updated. And this is our summer training schedule that we have available. So we're teaching all 3 CCNAs. We're only giving away free CCNA 1. Sorry, 100 slots is a lot of cash. I mean, that's almost $20,000 we're giving away. So we're doing that. And by the way, that's not a grant. That's coming straight out of my ASC ITC funds. So Bill's got to go teach. Okay, Bill, thank you. Have a good night. All this is being recorded so you can look at the rest. But you'll see the dates are June 1st through August 14th. It's our typical asynchronous. We have synchronous meetings once per week. If you cannot attend that meeting, they are recorded and you can go and review them. So be aware that is available for you all times. Now, fall schedule, I don't have the fall dates yet. I'll work on those and get them on here. But we offer CCNA 1, 2, and 3 every single semester, pretty much. And until we get a point to where we don't have enough people to run them. I actually had no DevNet associate class this spring, which was the first time. I've never had that class in years. And it shocked me that we didn't have anybody taking that class. But you also notice I do have CCNP NARSI. I prefer you've already had my CCNP Encore class before you take that, or that you've at least had it in the past. So if you're in my CCNP Encore now, obviously that's the class for you. If you've had my CCNP Encore in the past, if a lot of you want to do CCNP, I will offer it again in the fall. But it's something that I don't offer a lot because I don't get a lot of people wanting it. I think now that we get CEU credits, 64 CEU credits, you can easily, renew your CCNA for 3 years by taking that one class, or CyberOps or DevNet, either one. So just wanted to show you that so that you're aware of it. A couple other things I want to jump into before I am, we'll open it up just for Q&A. I get a lot of questions, folks, about does this class require instructor training? Does this class, do I have to align with an ASC, et cetera, et cetera? I want to show you something very important. Once you log into netacad.com, if you go to resources, course resources, okay, and look at the course that you're interested in knowing the information about. So I'm just going to pick DevNet Associate right now. If I wanted to know if DevNet Associate required training for my instructors, I click on DevNet Associate. I can scroll down to the bottom, and under the requirements, it will tell you, you must have an accredited instructor who has completed training at an instructor training, either in instructor training options or an instructor training center. This is one of the ones that you can have the certification and do a fast track test. So that's an option with this instructor training. You'll notice if your school wants to teach DevNet, you do have to have an ASC, an affiliation with us. Okay. Let's go back and look at another class. Let's look at Intro or Cybersecurity Essentials. Cybersecurity Essentials, it says that for instructors, we expect you to have this level of knowledge, and instructor training is optional, but you know, recommended. Now that's only if they don't have any other cybersecurity training, because if you've had Security Plus, this is nothing. Okay. Now, you'll notice in order to teach this Cybersecurity Essentials, you don't have to have an association with an Academy Support Center. So you can teach this if you don't have a relationship with us. Now, let's go back for CCNA 1, Intro to Networks. This requires training from an instructor training center, and you must be affiliated with an Academy Support Center. All right. And then the other requirements are there too. They expect you to buy some equipment to go in the classroom. They expect you to use Packet Tracer. So anytime you need to know if a course requires instructor training or affiliation with the Academy Support Center or other items, just go to Resources, Course Resources. I will also show you that you can dig down in any of these courses, and if you are accredited to teach them, you can go into the course itself and get all of this information, your instructor PowerPoints, PowerPoint source files, lab source files, those types of things. All of that is inside of there. Questions about course resources? Anybody? Okay, for fast track, does certification need to be current or can it be expired? It must be current, Patty. You must have a current CCNA or higher. So it cannot be. Okay, Kirby, just send me the email. That'd be fine. But yeah, Patty, you must have a current certification. It cannot be expired. And then you have to take 3. I do it a little different than some places. I do 3 exams. I do one for CCNA 1, 2, and 3. So I'll break it into 3 different ones so that you have to, they take all 3. And then once they completed all 3, I credit them for all 3 and they're able to teach it. So Kendra makes a very good point. It's excellent for finding errata for the class. So if you go in here and you go to, the English, you can find if there's anything that's been changed. I don't, over here 7.2. But they don't have anything in it. Release notes would be a good place to look. I don't see any of the other errata there on that one, Kendra. But okay, any questions about course resources? Oh, it's 2 pages back. Okay. Oh yeah. Did I miss it? Right here. Unmute yourself, Kendra. You're on the bottom left-hand corner.
The errata is on the upper right corner of the previous page.
Okay, so let me go back to here and go to here. Ah, right there. Duh, I'm a doofus. Okay, so there's errata for CCNA 1. So you can click here, download it, and here's all the stuff that they know of that is wrong. And if there's something that's wrong that's not in this errata and you find it, then you can please report that using the help desk. Okay, so here's the errata that we have. All right. Excellent. Okay, over here on the right. Now, the next thing I want to show you is a lot of people ask me about marketing resources. So if you go into resources and you go to marketing and program resources, you will see the marketing toolkit. Under the marketing toolkit are all types of things you can download and then go get printed for yourself, or have your local duplicating shop print them for you. Okay, you can legally have these printed by your local duplicating shop. So be aware of that. You can also take these and you can have them printed at like a Kinko's on a big banner or stuff like that. Unfortunately, there's nowhere to buy posters anymore. Instead, you can actually just go and get them from in here. So here's like banners and brochures, but you can actually grab these and you can do make these big enough that you can put them on a large banner. So you can get your own banners made. But that is under resources, marketing and program resources, marketing toolkit. And there's all types of stuff in here. So don't reinvent the wheel. Go in here and see what's available first You know, like just even these signs, you can have these signs as a pop-up. So you can actually have these and you can download them, and then you can have the a large vendor print these for you and make it into a pop-up sign, like the old pull-out signs we have. Okay, so don't reinvent the wheel, use what they have for you. Now, I'm going to show you one more thing. Cisco probably won't be happy with me about this, but I'm going to show you anyway. If you go and you've contacted me, you always contact us first if you have a support issue, because that's why we're here, folks. It's in me or Michael. Michael should be on here somewhere. I think he's still here. Say hello and turn the camera on and say, hey, Michael. Everyone should know Michael now. Michael is our Academy Support Specialist. He's been with us for over a year now, well over a year. But if you go in here and you go NetAcad support, you're going to notice one of the first things I always ask you is, have you talked to your ASC? Now, if you have contacted us and I say, I can't help you, okay, and you need to get, and now this is important. It is an emergency, a true emergency. Classroom's not available. You can't do something. You can put in here, you can type chat, okay, and it can just say, did this answer your question? Say no. And then it will tell you, your Academy Support Center can answer the majority of your questions. And a lot of times we can't, okay? But if it is actually something we cannot help you with, once you've done this, if you click contact the support desk, this is where you can submit a case on an issue that is not absolutely imperative. In other words, when I say an absolute imperative, it's a class won't run if I don't get it fixed, okay? It may not, it's not, that's really the only issues that I would say would be an issue that would allow you not to just do a submit a case. If, however, it's impossible for you to do that, you can click on this chat and it will pop it up. And the first thing it's going to ask is, have you contacted your ASC? If you say no, they're probably going to say, please contact your ASC. But if you've contacted me and I've said, look, I can't do anything, this is a database issue, you need to contact support, you can either submit a case here, or you can go in here and click chat and it will pop up the chat window. I'm not going to click it because it will open up a chat window with a support specialist. And they will say, have you talked to your ASC? Say yes. Now, one thing I will tell you, I strongly recommend before you ever click on chat, you open up Notepad and you bring it over here and you say, hello, yes, I have contacted my ASC. I have a problem student named Tim Boyd. He is in class blah blah. He is not able to blah. Can you fix him? Okay. Or something like that. Okay. Now, obviously, it'd be a little more detailed and so, but really give them as much detail as you can. The student's name, the email address, the exact class name, what the problem is, what you've done to try to fix it. Get all that in Notepad and just paste it in there. Don't waste the support chat person's time when you're having to type all of this in. Have it in a document, dump it in. That way they can see what you've done and it will save everyone's time. Okay. So that is a very important thing that will save them time and you time, and it will help help the Academy program overall. So just be aware of that. Questions about support. Who's your first line of support, folks? Us. Okay, me or Michael, or Michael or me, I guess. So contact us and talk to us. Also, Brian obviously works for the ASC also. So Brian Crumpson, I don't know if Brian's still here. I think he might have had to leave. But be aware that all of us are here and we will do everything we can to help you. And then if it's something we can't fix, then obviously you can use that process I just showed you. All right. Last thing in here I want to show you is before we move on, you're going to get out a little bit early today, is the following, unless y'all have a bunch of questions. And that is this: if you have not done it lately, under the Instructor Professional Development, there is a new orientation course that deals with a new experience. So if you haven't enrolled in that course recently and completed it, you may want to enroll in it, and then it will be on your I'm Learning tab. And especially any of you who are new should definitely go through this Academy orientation class, okay? So that you can read about, what the Academy is, how things work. But this is important. Again, if you've never done this before, it's under your resources, instructor professional development. Scroll down and enroll now in the new Academy orientation course. Questions? I'll show you one more thing because I just remembered it while I'm here. The other thing you can do here, by the way, folks, under resources, if you go to marketing and program resources, equipment information, this is where you can get your equipment list by curriculum. This is where you can find your equipment ordering process, how it works. This is where you can learn about NetAcad maintenance, which is the program that lets you download the iOS images that work with the devices that are designed to be in the classroom. Now, this doesn't let you download any iOS you want. It lets you download the iOSs that are in the equipment list that are maintained, okay? And then there's also installation and configuration guides and information about how you can do remote access. So it actually talks about NDG in here. So be aware of that. So if you were looking for, if you do equipment list by curriculum, if you were looking for the most recent CCNA 7 equipment list, you would click right here. You would open it up. All right, I got a question from Harry. Can I share the cost of the equipment? C1000s are running between $450 and $550 and $600 a piece. So that's the C1000s. I don't have a current price on the 4221s or the 4331s or the 4321s, which you should avoid like plague. I don't like these. I don't like the 4321s. I would either buy the 4221s with the rack mount kit or the 4331s because they're full 19-inch. But everyone I talked about, it was a 400+ day wait. I've got an email in to someone to see if that's still true. I've been waiting on this 9200 series switch, like I said, since July. It's supposed to be here this month in about 2 weeks. I'll believe it when I see it. I know there's folks on here. I know Rick is waiting on equipment and has been waiting on equipment for a very long time too. I mentioned to you, you can get some of this equipment from Network Craze, and but they have a lot of used equipment and refurbished equipment, but their equipment is about double the price of the new equipment with the discount. But they do have some of it in stock. So it's kind of, if you're interested in Network Craze, you can contact them. I got a contact. His name's Chris Calhoun. Contact me and I'll get you his information. But that is an option that you can use is refurbished equipment. It does have a full 1 year, full warranty, lifetime warranty. John Answorth mentions that CIS Tech also has refurb and good service. Yes, they do. I've had really good results with CIS Tech, and I've also, I'll be honest with you, had good results with Network Craze. They will contact you a billion times, but we used to run our data center with a 5548 that we bought from them. And it worked well, knock on wood. Well, I don't have to knock on wood anymore because it's not in the rack anymore. But it worked well for many years for us. Some doofus ordered it with the airflow backwards. I don't know who that would be, but his name rhymes with Kelly. But other than that, that was my fault, not their fault. Okay, so folks, I really have nothing else for tonight other than Q&A. So let's open it up. Anybody got any questions about anything I just went over? Anything that you want to ask about the Academy? You just have to unmute yourself on the bottom left-hand side of the.
I have a comment about the skills for all.
Yep.
I teach the CTI 120 course, the Networking and Security Foundation. And in that course, I've been using a combination of 3 things from NetAcad. The Networking Essentials, Introduction to Cybersecurity, and the Cybersecurity Essentials. Okay. And the cybersecurity ones in NetAcad are kind of dated. I know they recently released a much newer one of the Networking Essentials, but in a nutshell, I'm basically going to need to just use the Skills for All versions of those 3 courses in the fall when I redeveloped that course. I wanted to make sure that that was the correct understanding and let that be an idea for other people that might teach that same course.
Yes, and I'll be honest with you, given how hard, I don't know what LMS you use at your local school, but just have them turn in things in your LMS there at your local school. And I mean, we use Canvas locally, and it's just so much. I've been using that for my CCMP class, and it's just so much easier to grade things. I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but I know this is being recorded, but it's just so much easier to grade in Canvas than it is in the system on Neticat right now. But yes, that is what you're going to have to really do is do that. The good news too is though, they will get badges now. So you'll be able to get their badges. And I would say if you can sneak in that networking essentials class and not the class itself, but just have them complete it. That way they'll get the full pathway badge along with the other individual badges. So, somewhere try to get them to finish that whole pathway because it does and will map to that new Certiport IT specialist, IT cybersecurity specialist exam. My only negative on that exam is it's going to be $100, which is too much money. If they had brought that exam out at $35 to $50, I would have been, yes, finally, we've got what we need. $100 is too much. They should have went with the Walmart method and sold it, sold it at 35 and made a whole bunch of money. So, but I don't, it's not my company, so I can't say. Harry, you got a question?
Yeah, speaking of that ITS Essentials certification, I haven't seen a lot of data about hiring based off of that. And we've had some folks locally sort of pushing back on the whole badges and the value of badges versus the value of certifications thing. I just didn't know if folks had, again, seen positions that we're looking for, folks that had that IT certification thing, or if it's something just in Certiport's mind.
It's so new that I don't think anybody even knows what it is. I mean, honestly, we don't even really have a scope of sequence for the certification itself. So I don't know, Harry, and I don't disagree with you. I think certifications are always the way to go versus just a badge. So I agree with you. I agree with certifications. I will say, I think most of you were in my other meetings that we now can do, you can do your Program Essentials and Python exams locally if you become a testing center for OpenEDG. Now, if you're already a Pearson VUE, it's kind of dumb to become well, I won't say that. It's an extra option that your students could have to take their exam in your classroom versus having to go to a Pearson VUE testing center. It was really designed more for high schools and those crazy high school students who don't have a driver's license for some reason. But it is an option. You can still do that at your community college if you want to do that. So, Constance, you said something. I like Certiport for that purpose. I don't fully understand that, but I just don't know. Again, I think the exam is so new, no one knows what it's going to do in the job market. Being a proctoring class. Okay, yeah, good point. Well, and that's what OpenEDG has built. They have built the ability for you to do the same thing like Certiport. You can give the exam in your classroom as a proctor. So if you're interested in doing that, get in contact with me and I'll get you in contact with the OpenEDG representative and they can give you all the information on how to set that up. Since we work close to EDG, CyberOps VMs, access internet source. Yeah, I agree with that, Perry. The only negative there is liability. If you do that, if you open those up with the tools that are on that VM and someone goes out and hits stuff on the internet, suddenly you're liable. So I don't know if that will ever happen simply because of that. And I agree. I agree what you're saying, but I think the idea of keeping it in that sandbox is to try to make sure they don't cause nefarious problems. Now, let me tell you this. You can give them internet access. You can create a custom pod yourself and you can give it internet access, but then it's on you. it's not on NDG as a company putting that out and then them getting sued for your students hitting stuff. You know, you can develop your own custom pods, take that same VM and create internet access. It's very easy to do. You just create an internet VM or vSwitch and make sure that vSwitch has internet all the way out. That's funny. So it has to go to court in Poland. Yeah, it's free. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, Jonathan wasn't happy about that. He was like, well, if we ever have to take a trip to Poland, I'm not sure I want to do that right now. But they caved.
Yeah, but
like, well,
again, that's one of those things. I don't think it's that big a deal, but yeah, it is free. So it's not like they're charging you anything to do it. And I do like the fact they did that. I will give them huge props. They went above and beyond to make sure their program is accessible as accessible as it can be. Yeah, Perry, I understand that. Yeah. Well, that's why it's good to have control of it. That is a negative, no doubt. Any other questions? Any other concerns? Everyone has, I will send out the link again for next week's meeting in MailChimp. If you are not getting my MailChimps, let me know. Check your spam folders. I may be going in your spam folder, but I will send out next week's meeting. Let me find my document.
Is it going to be the same code or is it going to be a new code?
It's a new one. I got a different one. I believe.
Kelly, John wants to know about renting space in our net labs. We'll talk about that next time.
I can go ahead. I can answer that one right now. We do have an MOU in place where we can rent you space on our net labs. And the way we do it is this: we have the ability for you, each student slot that you want for a class is $35. So in other words, you can rent a slot for a class for a student for $35. You are set up as an instructor. You have to create your own student accounts. You have to handle all the password stuff and all that. Now, here's the thing. I also understand that not all of you have the money to do this. And so, you know, we give away access. We give away tons of access to our net labs. Everybody knows that. We've done it for years. We'll continue to do it for years. What I would ask is this: if you see you're going to have 30 students, if you can just budget to pay me for 5, pay what you can. You know, you may not be able to do all 30 students. I had a school in Georgia who, you know, I don't know if she's online, but she came to me and said, hey, I budgeted to pay for all my students. Yeah, I'm going to pay you for all of them. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, and then this summer I said, look, let's not worry about the summer because of budgeting things. We had some issues about how do you get summer budget versus, I said, look, during the summer, we'll just give you free access. But if you're getting free, quote, free access from us, if you could look at the MOU, or I'll actually get the MOU and show it to everybody next time. Thanks. I'll actually do that, John. But if you could just budget for 5 slots and we give you 30 slots, some money's better than no money, because people don't realize we pay $25,000 a year just to keep the data center's basic support contract up and going. Okay. So that basic contract, that support contract does the batteries, the generator, the AC units. That's it. It's 25 grand a year that we have to pay. And that comes out of the budget here at the college. So the college would be very happy if we got any money at all. Now, if you don't and you cannot pay it, that's fine. We try our best to give it away. So I think the big thing is just get in contact with me. We'll work with you. We have a way to share it. If you have 300 students, I'm probably not going to be able to give away 300 slots for free. If you got 20 students, we'll work with you. I mean, everyone knows we work with everybody as best we can. There will be a point someday when we'll probably, you know, when I'm no longer here, when someone will say, hey, we got to have money for every single person that uses it. I doubt it, because that's not what we do here. But if you can start just putting in the budget 5 slots at $35 a piece per semester, that little bit of extra money would really help us. And if you can't, don't worry about it. You know, we're not going to have a heart attack over it.
Hey, Kelly, let me also mention that I have helped schools with custom pods. If you have a custom pod and you need to use it on our system, please don't get with us a week before you need it.
Amen.
Custom pods take a little while. I need at least at least a month to 2 month notice. That is my go ahead, because we run into issues, right? There's things that come up with these custom pods configurations that, you know, need to be gone through. And anytime you have that, we need a minimal month. I would prefer 2 months if we have to do that moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. And here, Kirby put into the chat our document for next, but this next week, Marie will not be here, obviously, since she's not back yet. She was supposed to be back by now. I may actually move up the Cisco modeling labs up into here and give us 2 days worth of Cisco modeling labs. But next week, Mike will be going over the billing procedures. We'll go over the Python project updates. And then Brian and Rich are going to do an intro and information about the portal project. So I may be able to give Brian and Rich 15 extra minutes. Actually, I will give them 15 extra minutes next week since we won't have Marie on. So I'll send this out to everyone. So don't worry about trying to write down this Zoom link. I'll send it out to everybody, and actually I'll just, you'll have it available. So, all right, everyone. Are there any other questions? No questions at all. Everybody good?
Hey, Kelly.
Yeah.
Been a little more discussion about my hat. I just want to tell everybody I'm at my office at school today, and I'm not at home. The hat sits in my office at home. That's why I don't have it.
We're not interested in excuses, and it's just like our students. We tell them we don't want excuses. We want performance. Okay.
Well, I'll try to do better next week.
All right, everybody. Sounds great. Any other questions? All right, I'm gonna stop the recording, folks.